This past week, I was listening to the radio, and the particular program I was listening to was talking about the word calm, and how do we become calm. And they talked about a number of different things. And then they spoke about enjoying every moment. Wouldn't that be nice? To just enjoy every moment of life. No matter what's happening, no matter what direction things are going. Imagine if we tried to do that today. Just enjoy every moment of life. It might seem impossible. It's not impossible. When we include God in every moment of our life, when we consciously start the day, God, I want you to be a part of every moment of my life. Then we can enjoy every moment. This is Labor Day weekend, time when we're supposed to relax a little, kind of pause, the end of summer, beginning of everything else. And sometimes, in order to enjoy every moment, we've got to think a little bit outside the box. We've got to look at things just a little bit differently. My guess is we don't get up each day right now and say, God, I want to enjoy every moment of today. Sometimes we get up and go, God, I don't know what's going to happen today, but be there. Maybe that's good too. How may God be asking us today to look at things outside the box? To look at things differently? What's going on in our world? What's going on in our life? What's going on in the world around us and the lives of those around us that perhaps God is asking us to look at in a different way? The first reading, who can conceive what the Lord intends? I'd love to be able to figure out what God intends, but we can't do that. So perhaps thinking outside the box is just realizing that we're not going to understand exactly what God intends. All He asks us to do is simply walk with Him and allow Him to walk with us. For the corruptible body burdens the soul, and the earthen shelter weighs down the mind that has many concerns. Our mind has many concerns, and it weighs down our body. It weighs down everything that we are. Perhaps thinking outside the box, thinking in a different way, is recognizing in the midst of our concerns, our worries, our doubts, we can allow them to bring us down and weigh us down, or we can look at things in a different way, trying to see as God sees. Not necessarily going to change what's happening, but it changes our attitude, how we look at things. The Psalm said, in every age, O Lord, you have been our refuge. God has been the refuge for humankind for as long as humankind has been here. And He wants to be our refuge. What's a refuge? It's a place we can go. A place we can go when we need a little comfort, a little hope, a little peace, a little strength. Perhaps that's how God's asking us to look outside the box, to turn to Him for refuge. Most likely, in everyone's life here today, we're going to need to turn to God in refuge for something today. Something's going to happen that we're going to be like, okay. Perhaps that's how He's asking us to look at things a little differently. The second reading, Onesimus was a slave. And Paul's saying, I don't want you to look at him as a slave anymore. I want you to see him as a brother. Welcome him as you would welcome me. Perhaps that's where God's asking us to look at things differently. To welcome others in a different way. To deal with our relationships in a different way. to look at people we disagree with in a different way, to look at the situations going on in our life, in our world, in our country in a different way. Those situations may not change, but when we strive to look at things as God sees, even when we don't understand it, it can give us grace and strength that we can only imagine. Then, in the gospel, unless you hate your father, your mother, your wife, your children, your brothers and sisters, you can't be my disciples. That doesn't make any sense. And we've heard that from time to time, that gospel comes up. Perhaps what Jesus is saying is, you got to love me first. Because we all know how hard it can be sometimes to love the people around us. We want to, but it can be hard. God's saying, love me first. And then you'll be able to love those around you. Whoever does not carry his own cross cannot be my disciple. We're not called to carry anybody else's cross. Yes, we care what happens to other people. That's good. But God wants us to carry our cross. And he doesn't want us to carry it alone. Again, we've heard that before. Nothing I'm saying here is something we haven't heard before. But perhaps that's how he wants us to think outside of the box, to look at things differently. God, whatever crosses I need to bear, whatever trials I bear, may I bear them with you. You know how different it is when we invite God into the midst of our trials? God, be a part of this. How different life can be. Who would build something without calculating the cost? Who would go into battle without knowing whether they have enough people to win the battle? Why do we live our lives thinking we can do it all ourselves? How wonderful it can be if we just say, God, I want you there at every moment. At every moment. I want to be calm at every moment. And the way that's going to happen is by having you there at every moment. And then whoever does not renounce his possessions cannot be my disciple. It doesn't mean that we don't have anything. It means that we see that the most important possession in our life is God himself. Perhaps that's how he's asking us to look at things in a different way outside the box. I was talking to a kindergarten teacher the other day, and she was sharing how in the kindergarten class she tries to have the kids look at things differently. And so she said, instead of giving them a bunch of crayons and markers, just one marker, one crayon, one pen, and just put the pen on the paper and just draw. Just like draw a line and see where it takes you. I did that, and I thought it's pretty beautiful, my little artwork here. And I don't know, I just let my finger, this is life, you know? Life doesn't fit into a little box. This is life. And as we go through life, if we just let God be a part of it, it's amazing what can happen. So calm. Enjoying every moment. Wouldn't that be nice? It is possible. It is possible if we allow God to be a part of every moment, of every day. May we walk with him today. And wherever anything goes, wherever life takes us, may we truly allow him to be our refuge.